Today we are going to cover some topics about the database web application. First, we will introduce some HTML basics, then we will create a simple PHP form, and we will implement a Guestbook page and then an admin panel for the Guestbook. So I want you all to create, go to this folder into Windows. I'm using that Mac, but because its microphone is better than my Windows computer. So, but there's no difference between the Windows and the MacOS about that XAMPP server. Just go to that folder from your Windows and open your XAMPP server, open your MySQL database and Apache web server. Make sure they are running. Then you can go to the application folder, and in the Windows this folder is in here. It is same, they are the same. So we will create some folders in that folder. Let's say I want to create a folder as my receipt and go to that page, and then I want you all to use a text editor. I'm using the Sublime Text, which is a good one, but you can use anything you want. We will first open that page, that folder in that Sublime Text as a project. First file, open, and go to that page, go to that folder, which is C on XAMPP in the Windows, but I'm going to the XAMPP htdocs and my receipt folder, and I'm opening it as a project in here. So you can use many tools of the Sublime Text in here if you open it as a project. Now I will create a file in that project folder. Let's say it is I like that the saving first, because then it will be colorify. Let's say the name of the file is index.php. Let's save it. Index.php is the main page of the applications, main page of all the folders into a web page. If it is it's a PHP file. So that means let's go to localhost /myreceipt, and it will get a blank page. Let's change it something in here. Hello, how are you? If you save it, you will see it. If you refresh, you can see hello, how are you page in here. Now I want to make introduce into HTML. Let's create an HTML. If you use that Sublime Text, if you just type some HTML, if you click on it, if you enter, you will get this template of an HTML file. This is creating of HTML tag. These are the tags, HTML tags. And this is the head. There is some title. Let's say our title is a main page, a main page. And you will write your codes into your body, between this body tag and this body tag. So these are not your concern, but you need to write your codes into this tags, body tags. So let's say let's say hello world, how are you today? I'm saving by Ctrl S, then I can go. So as you can see, there is a title, main page. These are coming from here, main page, and hello world, how are you today is here. Let's have some HTML codes. I want to make it as a bold, which is B, like this. If you click, and you can see it's a bold now. But also I want to make it as, let's say we will have a guestbook. Let's say welcome to our guestbook. I also want to make it as the center, which is div align as center, and we can see now it is centered. Let's say I want to add another text in here. I want to make a break, that means it is a break. That means in the HTML, that means a new line like this, but it will not accept that one. But that means you can make some lines between it. And here is our messages in our database. So we can see like this. There is some breaks. These are the new lines. But I don't want to go into detail about the HTML things, but I'm firstly focused on that recitation about the forms. What are forms? As we can know from our earlier experience, we can define a form like this. Let's say HTML form example. Let me show you. A form, HTML form is like this. A first name, last name, and going to submit. So this is the form. Let's create a form like this. This is the main page of the HTML. You can find anything. You can find many HTML tags, many HTML introductions, many of things you can find in here. So let's create a form in that page. I want to create a form like this. Form action. This means where this form is going to send. Let's say it is send messages.php, but also we need to mention a method, and I suggest you use that post method for a form, and you can create a form like this, but this will not show anything. But also I want you to add some inputs in here to make this look in here. So let's add some form elements into that form of our form. Let's say we will want to add an input, and its type is let's say it's a text, and the name of this input is a name, and we can go. Let's add, we can see in here. So I want to also add another thing which is like this. I'm just copying it. Maybe you can add a placeholder. Placeholder means type your name. You can see in here, type your name, but it is not your name. So then you can add another one like this, just copying. Input time is, let's say I want to add name, surname. Type your surname and your age. Let's say it's an age. Your age. And we can see like this. Type your name, type your surname and your age. I also want to add a button to send all of these things, and also I want to add a break between them to make it more visible. These are like this. I also wanted to, I'm just placing this div into here, so all of these things will be aligned as a center because it's starting from here and ending in here. So then we can show a form like this. Then we can go on. Let's add another break, which is a new line. So we can go on, I think, and I want to add a button in here and say this is the send. Let's say it's like this, send. So you will type your name, your surname, and your age, and you will send it. Add another break, feel better. So we can see like this. Okay. So I think all of is okay. All of them is okay. So we can, let's say it is Alaaddin Yılmaz and 26. Send it. It will direct you into send message PHP, but there is no page like error like this file. So we need to create it first. Let's create it. File, new file. Save it, send messages.php. So this PHP file also created template for the HTML. But if you want, you can make it. If you don't want, you don't need to add an HTML, but we will add later. This file will take these inputs, and I want to make it into our database. I will insert them into my database. So firstly, let's open a PHP tag like this. So, and then let's create a variable name as name from getting that file, that post method. So this name is coming from that name. This is the name. And then I will surname. It is coming from this surname, is coming from that surname. Then we can go on. And also I will take an age. So let's try, is it coming from the other page, is correct or not. So echo means it is writing. I want to write something into PHP. First, let's say I want to just hello. I want to echo just hello. I want to write just hello. Let's go to that page. Send message time. This name is not correct. It will be message. Yes. So can go on. Send message. Yes, we can see hello, but there's some errors because they are not. I did not send it from that index page, so you cannot find the post method that is directed to in here. So I'm just making it into my address bar, but that means it needs to come from a page. So that means there is a post request. This is the post request. There is something posted in that send message page to get these names, to get these variables, and to assign them into that variables. Okay. Let's say I want to echo the name and I want to add a dot. That means it is a string concatenation. Let's say first I will give an example. Ali.Veli. It will just show Ali Veli. They are concatenated. Let's say first they are not in here, so you can see better. Ali and Veli. Maybe you can add some another things like this. Let's say it's the my num is like this. and I'm just adding this my name as a concatenation. So we can see these are concatenated. Let's add another thing in between them. I'm just adding a blank between these and these. So you can see this like this. There is a blank between them. Let's concatenate. Let's go on in that manner again. So what are we going to do? I want to get the name which is typed in here, surname and age from the other page. Let's show them into the screen. And I'm adding a blank between them to make it more visible. So also let's add an HTML break between the things. Let me see. There is nothing because they are not coming from the another page. I'm just adding that page. So let's say I also want an if condition. That I adding is set. That means is it set or not? Is there anything like this? So we can add an if like this and putting all of them into that one. If it is not set, so that means there is nothing, a name coming to that page from another page, which is not set, that is an else. So that else give you a message into your screen like this, echo you the form is not set. So then you can use it like this. So we can see the form is not set because there is nothing like name. So let's go to index page. Type your name, Alat Yılmaz 26 and go. So there, so it is set, name is set from here. This set. It takes from the post request name, surname and age. These are the name of the input names. So you can use it like this. You can use it like this, my name, but it is name. So these must be equal. These must be the same. So you can use it like this. So you can see like this, because this is you don't need to make them equal like this. My name, you can give anything name, you can use it my variable, but this is not, you can adjust. Let's say it is my variable. The form is not set because you did not mention anything like name. Now in here, from here, let's send. Okay, but my variable is not coming a post request, so these are the same. These must be the same. Okay, so not so complicated. So let's go again. I also up to you, it's okay. I think I'm just sending from the index PHP. These are the forms. This is the form. You can just sending your name, your age, and you can go, and you will have this into. You can successfully send from index PHP to send message PHP successfully. But it is not what I want exactly, because these are not recorded in anywhere. So if you just refresh, there is nothing because they are not recorded in anywhere. So I want them to record it. So I want it to into my database. Let's make a connection between database and my send message PHP. So first, let's make a connection. How do we connect them? I will connect them like this. Let's say I'm creating a database variable. MySQL e connect. First, I will mention the host name. Then I will mention the database username. And then I will mention the database password. But many of them does not use a password. XAMPP server is not using a password for the database, but you can, if you want to publish it, you will need a password. Then you will have you need to mention a database name, which is, let's say it is a RecidDB. So you can also, you need to add these ones in here. I don't want to write them. You can find it in the resources. It is db connect error not is bigger than 0. So that means you could not connect the database and it will die. That means there is nothing will be executed up if condition is met. Let me show you. Let's save it. So there is an error. So because there is not a database name as RecidDB. Let's create a database like this. Let's go into the localhost /phpMyAdmin and create a database. Let's create a database. Create database as RecidDB. I also want to add like this. Create a database. Okay. So just go. You create a database like as RecidDB, as you mentioned in here too. Let's create a table into RecidDB as named as messages, because I want to make a guestbook. Create table messages, and I need to add some columns on it. First, I want to add an ID message, which is a message ID, and it is an integer. I also want to add a username or sender, which is a varchar, which is a string, and let's say it's at most 50. And I also want a message, which is a huge text from the sender, which is also a string, but at most 300 characters. Let's say it's at most 300 characters. And I'm adding some constraint, which is primary key of this messages table, which is ID. And I also want to add another constraint, not null, auto increment. That will automatically increase the message ID, because it's the primary ID, primary key. So you need to have it. You must have it. But you don't need to all the time adding, and you don't need to mention all the time the ID of your message. Not to mention explicitly, you can just adding auto increment condition in here. So I think it is done. So messages, message ID, sender, and message. So I'm also adding a constraint of the primary key. So we can go. So then we can add some elements into my database. Let's try it again. Send it. So it is, I think that it will not give an error, because I think it is connected. Let's have some errors in here. It will give an error because it could not connect it. But if you make it like this, it will connect. So there is nothing there is not an error. So after I'm connecting with my database, I want to insert these variables into my database. So let's insert them. It is so basic. You just need to SQL statement like this. It is basically insert into your messages table these values. First, you need to also mention the columns, but I did not mention a surname in here, I think. Yes, there's Sander. Yes, let's change it like this. Let's say I will not give another surname, and I'm using that name as a Sander. So there is not a surname. I'm just deleting it. So this is Sander, but I am just naming it as a name. So these are the same. Name is assigned into Sander. And I also want to change it like this. It is a message. Let's say it's a message. This is not H, sorry. So it is coming as message. These are the same. Message. Type your message. Let me see. Yes, your name and your message. Alaaddin and your message, hello world. Go, okay. So there's a name, message, they are coming from here. I just want to make it show into my Sander message now. Let me see. Yes, Alaaddin Hervold, you can see in here. These are Sander coming from the name, coming from the post request and message. Now we will add some SQL statements. I want to insert this name and message into my messages database. One is Sander, the other one is the message. These are the same. This is coming from variable into that from that PHP file, but these are coming from the database. So I think we need to first, but it will not execute it. We need to execute this statement. Let's do it. First, declare a result variable and MySQL this I as MySQL query into that database, which is coming from here, and from I want to execute this statement into that database and this statement. So that will execute our SQL statement into that database. So I think we are done. Let me try. If I also want to echo the result message in here. So I want to see, is it okay or not? My result is like this. Go to the next page and make something. My message, send it. I think it's not done. Let me try Sander, because it is Sander in the database, and I will let semicolon. I think it will be done. Let's try. Okay, the result is 1. Let's check it onto my database. Yes, we can see Sander is Alaaddin and my message in here. and these IDs assigned as run as auto increment, because we make a if it cannot be null, so because it's a primary key, and it will auto increment. I'm adding that condition, so I do not need to write explicitly ID in here. I did not write here. I'm just getting a name, which is sender, and the message, and then we can insert. And this is assigned by the database management system, because I say I will auto increment it. I say it will auto increment. So we can go on. And so I want to get the messages from the, I also want to change this text area, because it's the input, it is not a name. So let's change it like this. Go to the next PHP and say this input type is a text area, and it is an input text. It is a Latin, and it is let's change, but I also want to change this message in here, because this is a text area, not just an input. Let's change it like this. I want to add a text area like this. Name is message, and just deleting this one, message, and the placeholder, type your message in here. Let me see. Yes, we can see now, and adding a break, so I can see it will be a text area. So my name is Alaaddin, and this page is so nice. Let's send, and I can see in here it is coming into here. I also want to show all the messages into that page. Let's make it, let's create a messages file. First save it, messages PHP. I also want to show the include statement in here on PHP. So you don't need to all time need to connect to PHP, connect to your database. You don't need to write all the time these things. Let's add another file as config PHP, and copy them or cut them and paste it. So this page is just this page will be used as just a connector. It will connect you into your database. Let's connect every page. I want to include, not this one, include config PHP. Let's try again. Send it. It is sent, but let's say it will be, let's make it a comment, so it will not make a connection, let's say. So there is a error, so you need to add. So we successfully connect by just adding this one. This is coming from here. Let's also connect this page, which is messages PHP, with the PHP, with the database. Just include config PHP, and you will just connect to your database. So then we can make some statements. So that means if you include this file, all the variables can be used in that one. So that I can call this DB from here, so I can use it now. So I also want to get all the messages. Let's add some messages first to populate. Let's say it is Kemal. Hello, how are you? So we can see in here Kemal is added. Let's delete these ones first, and I want to add another ones. Yeah, today is so nice. I think we can add more. Ayşe, today is not nice. How are you? So silly. I think it is okay. So I want to get the all messages. So I firstly connect my database with this statement. This is just including that file, that PHP file. So it is just connecting database, which is root as my username, password, and this database name. So we can use database. Let's get all the elements from that file. First, let's make an SQL statement as we did. Select all from messages table. I'm just selecting all the messages. Let's also create a variable as result and MySQL query. I want to into that database and these SQL statements. Then I will fetch the results and I will fetch the rows that is returned from that query, because it will get some messages. Let me show you into my PHP it will return these ones. So these result variable are having that ones. So while that result this, I'm just assigning this row that is coming from that result. MySQL, I fetch assoc this result. Then I can assign this. Let's say it's my sender is rows sender column. This sender column. Now let's print out into my screen. Let me see. Now I can see my sender names but concatenate to each other. These are the sender names. To Alaaddin in here, Kemal Yahya Ayşe, Kemal Yahya Ayşe. But I also get the message that's coming from this row and message column. Now I can do it like this. My message in here, and also adding it like this. Let me show. And I also add another bracket, so breaks like this to differentiate them. So Alaaddin, my message in here, Alaaddin, this page is so nice and we can see like this. Let's beautify them. We will use HTML. Let's go into HTML table. Tables. Let's find a good one. Style. This one is nice. I think we can use it. I'm just copying these style elements because I want to get these colors and they are coming from the style of this table. Let's use it. Let's also make a HTML text it is messages page, and I will add my style in here, just copying that styles and adding some these tables which are hidden in here, company and company. So I'm just copying them, some of them. Let's okay, let's copy into body and let's delete some of them. We don't need here. TR for the rows, TH for the columns, so you can differentiate them. Okay, let me see what is going on. I'm just adding these ones in and the first row into my new page. I will just use them. Let's copy these ones. Let's copy these ones to here, because I can embed PHP codes into HTML tags, but you need to mention these ones. So it's a PHP file, so it will execute the PHP codes, but these are executed by the browser, so they can embed the PHP code into HTML. So then I will using these tags in here. Let's make resemble between them. Echo tr, which is starting a row. I'm adding in here and adding my sender, and sorry, at first I'm declaring a row, then I'm adding a column as my sender, then another column. I'm closing that column, also adding another column like this, message. I'm closing that column also, and then I can safely close my row in here like this. So I'm just deleting that one. So that means you can echo, you can write some HTML codes between the echo statement inside PHP. That means you can embed PHP into HTML, and also you can embed HTML into PHP. Okay, it's not so complicated. So I'm creating a row, creating a column inside that row, my sender, my message, and then we can, while it is a loop statement, so it will add one by one, so they will be copy like this. They will be add whatever you want, it will fetch from the MySQL database. So I can delete them until here. So that means I'm creating a table and I'm adding some rows and creating multiple rows if it is coming from here, and then closing the table. So I'm embedding PHP code between table, but it is fully filled with a PHP. So I can show it like this. I'm adding I also want to add, this is sender, and this is message. So you can see like this. I'm just adding another column to show it. So this is sender and this is message. I also want to make it like div align center, because I want to get it into center. So it's into center, I think. So we can see send a message in here. Let's add this page into my index PHP. Let's just include this one. So you can just use it like this. Include, but first you need to add some PHP code, because I'm adding a PHP code inside this HTML file. This is because all the things are the HTML. So include messages.php. So this file will be included in the main page. Here is the messages of in our database. Sender message. So let's add some message. Mehmet here is so nice. Send it. It is send it. Let's go to main page. So we can see Mehmet is here. Let's add another one, another thing in the send message page. Let's, after your result is correct, after you get the result, after you successfully inserted your message and sender, let's go to the main page, submit, like this. Header, location is index.php, then you are done. Let's go to the main page and let's say it's Mehmet2, Mehmet222. Send it. So you first go to send page, send message PHP, then you will direct it into here. So another one, send it. So you can send whatever you want. So you can see in here. Want some make this form is more beautiful. Let's go in here, CSS Forms. In here, I think it is nice. Let's try it yourself. Just copy these ones, style into your code. I think this is into here. Save it and let me see. So this is much better, I think. This is much better because the background will be gray this time. Maybe also I can add this much is also maybe text area CSS. Maybe it is one or ones like this. Rows is maybe 5 and calls is, which is columns, as 100. Maybe this time it will be look better. So let's try. Go, it is done. So I also want to add an admin panel to delete and change something from this table. Let's create another table. No, another file. Let's new file, admin.php. It is not it's not a good one because I will not add anything about the security. I'm just adding. First, I'm connecting my page with my database like this, as we did before. Yes, it's connected now, and let's Let me see the messages. I also want to see the messages in my page. Let's go to my localhost /admin php. Sorry, I think this will be my reset /admin.php. Okay, so these are this is nothing something new. I'm just adding I will add something in here. I'm adding another form. Okay, let's create a form. I'm creating HTML. I'm adding you don't need to do that, but if you want you can add a form action to send admin php, and method is post. And this time I just will see the message and I want to delete it. Let me see. Maybe we can add, I also want to get the ID of the messages. Okay, let's add this one also. ID. This is the ID of the message. Also I'm adding another column like this in here. I think it is okay. This ID. Now let me see. Okay, the first one is not sender. Let's add this one also. ID of message, sender of message, and the message. Now it is done. Let me add an option in here that is coming from these IDs and selecting this ID and delete it. How do we do that? Let me show you what I want to do. Adding a button, and this button will just delete it. And also I want to add an option from the HTML. Option select HTML. I want to get something like this. Choose the ID. Maybe it's the car. Choosing this one or this one, and I'm just deleting it. Let's copy them. This is what I want. Adding this one in here, and also you need to close the form. Okay, let me see what is done in here. The admin page. Yes, Audi in here. Yes. Let's change them. These options by the IDs from the messages. Let's also add another PHP tag like this. Make another SQL statement. SQL state. SQL, let's say it's SQL comment. I want to get the IDs. Select ID from messages. So this time I think it will be done. Okay, select ID from the messages. So I also get the let's do it in here. Let's execute that comment in here. Okay, I want to get the IDs of the messages. Let's add another one. Results. My result is executing that query as in that DB, which is the SQL comment now. Now I can fetch the rows from that my result variable, while new row id rows, let's say, not complicate with these messages. PHP id row says MySQL fetch sock this is my result. So then I can get the IDs. My ID is ID rows, the ID column of the ID rows. This is the coming from the MySQL, this one. Now I also want the echo as a HTML. Let's copy it in here and change it like this. Say this like this. It is the ID, this ID in here. And also I want to change this value because that it will be, let's change into that one because it can be mixed up with these ones. So I think we need to change it like this. You also add these ones. Now I think you are done. And delete these ones. You are just embedding this PHP code between these options HTMLs. Okay, you are just populating these rows, populating the options by your while loop as you did in the messages. Let me see, is it done or not? Let's go to the admin page. I think there is a mistake in here. Okay, so there is another mistake, which is as a like this. Let me see, there is duplication. Okay, yes, we can see the IDs of the messages in here. We can, but also you need to also look at the inspect, or maybe you just view page source. You can see option values like this. Okay, one which is 13, let's delete it, but it is not, because I think if you go to this one, this form is closed before the button, so you need, there's the application, there's a mistake. So I think this time it will be okay. Let's try it. 13, I want to delete these ones. Let's go. It's not yet set. Let me see. Send admin. Let me see the admin page. Let's delete these ones because the ID is integers. If you do it like this in here, it will be understood as a string, but also you need to change this ID to name because it will fetch in here as IDs and it will be as named, not ID. So I think it is done now. Let me try again. Let's go to the main page. No, not main page, admin.php. Let's delete this one. I think it is done. Okay, so let's try delete all of them. So there is nothing left. If we go to main page, this is our guestbook. Hello again. Go to the admin page. It is your messages and you can see the ID of that message, and if you want to delete it, you just delete it like this. I think it is done. So Thank you for listening or watching. If you have any questions, you can email me with my